I am making Irish fudge, traditional Irish fudge. Now, what's funny about this is Mike and my daughter brought me this back when they went to Ireland. Let's see, how many years ago was it? 6 years ago? 7 years ago? Wow, 7 years ago?
7 years ago.
Holy cow. And I have saved this for 7 years. And this is the first time I'm going to try and make this recipe. I found a recipe called Butter Fudge. So I think they call it Butter Fudge here in America. But I got the idea from the Irish fudge.
It does say Butter Fudge on the back.
Oh, it does?
It says traditional Butter Fudge.
Oh yeah, on the back it says traditional Butter Fudge. Now what I did was I looked at the ingredients here: sugar, milk, evaporated milk, butter, and syrup. Corn syrup is what golden syrup is over in Ireland and England. So I finally found a recipe that I think is going to be the same. We'll see. Okay, so we got our fudge, we got our butter for our fudge. And now, when you have evaporated milk, you want to make sure you really shake it well because the solids will fall down to the bottom, okay? So, now this takes 17 ounces of sweetened condensed, of evaporated milk. Okay, so each can is 12 ounces. So it's just over 2 cups of sweetened condensed milk. So what I'm going to do, because see, 2 cups is 16 ounces. So I'm just going to go just a titch over, and that's about 17 ounces, okay? We're going to put that in with our butter. Got it on medium heat. And then we have 6 cups of sugar. And then we need 2 cups, 16 ounces of light corn syrup, or golden syrup as they call it over in Europe and England and all that. Just let it drip, 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 drip. Okay, while that's dripping, I'm going to add my next amount. I'm going to wait until I finish dripping and then I'll put the rest in. Now if you want, you can put this in some warm water before you go to use it if you're down to the bottom of the bowl or bottom of the bottle, and it will soften it up and it'll come out easier. Okay, I think I got most of it there, so we're going to finish it off to our 16 ounces. All right. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love caramels. So that is why I love recipes like this. Okay. Okay, now we're going to let all of this come together. I don't think my pan's big enough. Oh dear. Okay, I just made this recipe and it boils up. So, my lovely, wonderful assistant, Brad at the Restore, gave me a new canning.
I was going to say, was Brad your lovely, wonderful assistant?
No. Sorry. Oh, that sounded weird. I'm sorry, dear. Brad, you are my lovely, wonderful. You are my handsome, wonderful assistant, my dear. But Brad gave me a canning pot. Can you go grab that? It's sitting on the table in the garage.
Yes.
Thank you.
After I'm done holding this.
So now I'm going to pour this into my bigger pot. So now, since I have a much bigger surface area, it is going to come it is going to reach 244 degrees a lot quicker. So I'm gonna really stand and watch this, but while it's coming up to temperature, I've got my mom's 9x13 pan. This thing is probably 70 years old. Well, not quite 70. This is 60 years old, probably 50 years old. And I'm going to very thoroughly butter the pan. Okay, so you just take your butter. Now for this one, I would probably use butter instead of cooking spray, but you can use cooking spray. But just really, really butter it well.
You're not doing parchment on this one?
No, you can do parchment if you want, but I'm just showing you the traditional recipe, the traditional way they do it.
I see.
Okay. All right. Now, this recipe is in the description below. We have our #1 dessert post on our website is Christmas candies for what, 15 years now? Starting September through January, it's our #1 post, isn't it?
That's because we make awesome Christmas candies.
We do. Well, you film awesome Christmas candies. I make the awesome Christmas.
I eat them. That's my job.
Yes, and you do a very good job at it. You're very good at that, yes.
Yeah, the scale says that.
See, they say work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Okay, so we're gonna bring this to a boil on medium heat and bring it up to 244 degrees. Thank you for watching our entire video. We're going to give you our Dining on a Dime cookbook ebook volume #1 free at livingonadime.com. Click on our shop, click on our ebooks, click on Dining on a Dime volume 1, add it to your cart. When you go to checkout, use the coupon code DINING1 and you will get our ebook absolutely free with no obligation and no strings attached. Visit us at livingonadime.com. All right, so you want to continually stir, especially if you have a pot that's bigger than your stovetop, because can you see how the heat is concentrated? Don't touch this, it's lava. See how the heat is concentrated right here? That's because my stovetop burner is smaller than my pan. So you want to keep all that fudge coming in. Then what you want to do is every, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, come in and check your temperature. Now, as it gets higher, it's going to go quicker. And you'll notice that it starts to get thicker and it'll be a little bit more resistance on your spoon when you go to cook it. So just stay and watch it. This ain't no time to go loving on your hubby, even though he's going to be excited to have your candy. Ooh, that could be taken so many ways. Okay, sorry, we are rated G, but you know.
We're a family channel, woman.
We need to explain, kids, how you got here. Okay. Okay. There we go. So now we're at almost 220, so we're getting close. So now I'm really going to keep watching it. Going down. It can't be going down. Okay, so you can see how it's getting thick. Now look, I literally took 30 seconds to look something up and wasn't stirring, and I got some little brown bits on the bottom. It's fine. It's just going to be caramelized bits, but that happens. Just keep going and you'll just have little caramelized bits. That was my fault. I didn't follow my own directions. Do I ever follow my own directions, dear?
Never follow anybody's directions.
I don't. Okay, we're getting super, super close.
Good thing you're making it now before the party. Get all the kids all wired so they can run around. And...
Yes, exactly. Okay, now, this is not what I would call a super easy recipe, but it is a super delicious recipe. So, if my test recipe turned... Oh my goodness, did you see what I almost did there?
Almost put your hand in there.
Oh no, I almost dropped my spatula, or my spoon.
Yeah, don't reach in for it if it goes.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But if this recipe turns out, and I'm pretty sure it will, but if this recipe turns out, it's so tasty. It's unbelievably tasty. So I'm pretty sure it will. I don't know, you'll see it here first, folks. Oh man, got like 3 degrees left. All right, if you guys need candy tips, page 319, if you don't have a candy thermometer, this is how you will know when your candy is ready, when you put it into a glass of cold water. So just go here if you don't have a candy thermometer, super easy to show, okay? Oh man, almost there. Okay, see how golden caramel it's getting? Yum. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat off. Let it finish. So we're almost. Now I have an electric stove, that's why I turned my heat off to let the residual heat finish, but if you have a gas stove, you'll want to keep it on. Okay, I'm gonna turn my heat back on just a minute.
Is it cooling now?
Yeah, it's cooling too much because my pan's so big. Actually, I'm like pretty sure we're there. Here's how you show to test, okay? So you take a little bit, you pour it in your water here, okay, like that. Let it cool for just a minute. Okay, then I'm going to reach in here, and if it forms a soft ball, not quite cool enough. Okay, if it forms a soft ball, see how that's staying in a soft ball? Your fudge is ready, okay? That's how you know if you don't have a thermometer. Oh, oh, that is Irish heaven on the tongue. Oh, wow. All right.
And that's no blarney.
Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take it off the heat, and you're going to pour it into your mixing bowl for your stand mixer. Okay, now this is easiest to do when you have someone helping you, but since Mike is filming, okay, now.
Me to stop this and help you scoop the last of it.
Okay, let me see if I can get the last of it scooped here. Now, once again, I know this isn't just like a super easy recipe, but this stuff is so good that I just had to make it. And I had to have the excuse to take off the ingredients on my taxes, so there you go, right, Dad? Right, dear? See, that's the beauty of being a cookbook author. You can take fudge off on your taxes. What kind of a job is that?
Well, you definitely do the work to justify it.
Oh my goodness, that's an understatement of the century.
So I'm having a little trouble doing this. Looking through the camera and scooping.
You're doing good. I'm sure. I can't see, but I think you are. Okay, is that good enough? And then we'll just
Actually, whoa, there's a... And then you'll just lick the rest out of there. That's a lot of...
Okay. So then we can lick the rest out of here since we don't have any kids at home to eat it. But Mike and I will eat some in just a minute and test it. Although I already tested it, it was super good. Okay, so get it all down there. Now we got it on the mixing. Well, now you can hand stir this, but it'll take like 30-45 minutes to hand stir it. So if you don't have a mixer, you can hand stir it. Just stir it on low. Just stir it on low for 15 minutes. Okay, now you can see how nice and thick this is. Ooh, hot.
Still hot?
Yes, it's still hot, so be careful. Okay, so now,
Still semi-molten-y.
Yes. So now we're gonna get this all, now you don't, wow, it's actually pretty warm. Be careful, if it's too hot, get you a hot pad holder. Then, my bowl's hot. Now, if it starts setting up on you, just leave that little bit for the hubby and kids and get it all smashed into your pan. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I have been waiting 7 years to make this recipe. I cannot believe I waited so long. We taste tested a little bit out of the pan before we put it into the before we put it into the, what do you call it, into the sink. Okay. Oops, there's my timer. Okay, so just so you know, I did this 13 minutes, not 15. Probably could have done 12, actually. But you just want it to be light, this light color, and it starts pulling away like you saw on the pan. And, that's hot. Okay, now don't put this, where'd my towel go? Okay, now don't put this in the refrigerator. Just leave it out to set up, but score it before you let it cool, okay? Because it'll come out of the pan easier. And yes, for those of you wondering, I am dairy-free, but every now and then for a recipe like this, I will put up with the migraines I have the next day. Which is really dumb, I know, but it's Christmas, dear, right?
Yep, the time for headaches.
The time for headaches. It's not just your husband either. Ah! Just kidding. Actually, you're not a headache. You're a very wonderful hubby.
What?
You are. I think I scored well.
Awesome.
Actually, I chose well.
Aw, thank you.
Let's have a little moment here. Ladies, stop choosing men that are jerks. If he doesn't open the door for you, bring you flowers, bring you chocolates, pay for dinner, all this stuff, you don't want him.
Wow.
My goodness.
Did I do those things?
And if he expects you to keep your bank account separate, you really don't want him. Okay. Now, we're going to let this cool, and then we will cut our fudge the rest of the way and plate it up. Okay, now, hold on. Let's see. All right, now, come over to this side, dear.
Whoa, ho, ho.
Oops, I almost dropped it on the floor. Okay.
Ooh, the soft ball stage.
Irish, traditional Irish butter fudge. Does it taste the same as what it was?
Mm-hmm. It does. It tastes just like it.
And I noticed after beating it, all of the caramel bits that I just slightly burned have all reincorporated in there. So don't even freak out if you get those little caramel bits in there. It'll just reincorporate.
Yum.
Okay, I gotta taste a bite. I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna regret it, but it's just like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you are a caramel lover, butter rum, this is it.
Butter rum?
Yeah, this is like butter rum. All right, this apple cider fudge calls for diced dried apples, and I found the easiest way to dice them is to take a pair of clean cooking kitchen shears. These are just regular scissors that I just keep for cooking only, or try to. And then I just dice them by cutting them into little pieces like that.
Takes you right back to kindergarten, huh?
Yes, it does take me right back. I loved kindergarten. I actually liked kindergarten. Did you like kindergarten? You didn't go to kindergarten.
No, but we had some first grade stuff that was like kindergarten.
Okay, now we're gonna line our 8-inch cake pan with parchment paper, and here's a little trick. Set your parchment paper on top and cut slits. And actually you don't need to do both sides. I don't know why I did that other side. I just do one side normally. And then it will fold down in here. Just like so. Oops, this one needs to go a little bit further. And this one too. Okay, there we go. I got our pan all lined, and I'm just gonna oil it also, just to make sure that it doesn't stick. Now our pan is ready for our fudge. For those of you who don't know, 1 stick of butter is a 1/2 cup or 8 tablespoons. This recipe calls for 3/4, so I threw in 1 stick. And then I'm going to cut the half. That's how you measure butter. That's how you measure butter. Is that right? Measure, not measure.
Right.
My hillbilly accent from Kansas.
It's only measure in the spring.
It's only measure. Well,
Sorry.
this is why your parents pick who you marry, folks. Just saying. Actually, I don't think my mother could have picked better.
Nope, I don't think she would have.
Okay, next I have my apple cider, not apple cider vinegar. Just regular apple cider. My sweetened condensed milk, the best invention ever for cooking. You gotta love sweetened condensed milk. And if you guys don't have canned sweetened condensed milk, you can use the recipe in Dining on a Dime, Volume 1. We have how to make homemade sweetened condensed milk. You didn't know you could do that, did you?
No. It's stirring itself.
And then we have our sugar. Yes, I know this is a lot of sugar. It's fudge, guys. It's fudge.
You measure it, then you just dump the whole container.
Well, there was like 2 tablespoons and one of my cups was slightly short, so that's why I did that. Actually, for fudge, you guys need to usually be precise because fudge can be kind of persnickety. Okay, now we're going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, that looks so delicious.
And you currently have it on low. Are you going to just let it go to boil from there?
I'm going to put it on medium, but we're waiting for someone to buy something off of Facebook Marketplace, so I'm just going to leave it on low until he comes.
I see.
Okay, when you guys see the nutrition information, just ignore it. This size pan is 64 servings at 100 calories each.
6,400 calories for that?
So this whole pan. So if you decide to eat the whole pan of fudge, that's your calories for the week if you're on a diet. So on Monday, you can eat the whole pan of fudge and you'll be good for the rest of the week.
Fast until Sunday.
Just ignore the calories, guys.
Well, if you cut an 8x8 swath, then each piece would be 100 calories. So actually, if you think about how big those pieces are, that's not unreasonable.
It's like
for
1
fudge.
inch pieces,
Yeah.
maybe half-inch pieces.
Yeah. Just if you eat the whole thing, then don't torture your scale.
Oh my goodness, no kidding. All right, and then, whoops, I thought it was boiling. Then when it starts boiling, see right there, set your timer for 5 minutes. Now, if you're at high altitude, you may have to go 30 more seconds. I am literally right on the line of high altitude. So for some recipes, I have to make them high altitude, others I don't. So if you make this the first time and it's too soft and you're at high altitude, add an additional 30 or 45 seconds of boiling time. And high altitude is 3,500 feet for those of you wondering. Or is it 37? I think it's 35, I can't remember. If you're high altitude, you'll know.
That would be funny because we're exactly 37.
Yeah, I think it's 37. After I said 35, I think it's 37. I don't know, somebody comment and tell everybody which one it is. Okay, when I get down to 1 minute, because I have an electric stove, I turn the heat off at 1 minute. Because for an electric stove, the heat keeps coming up and it keeps boiling, and that way I don't burn it on that last minute. Now, if you have a gas stove, you will want to leave the heat on for the entire time. But since I have an electric stove, I am turning my heat off at 1 minute. It's silicone. That's why I like it, because it's silicone. It doesn't melt. It's heat resistant to 550 degrees.
Wow. For how long?
Oh, you got to get technical. I have no idea. I just know that I have not melted a spatula that's silicone ever in my cooking career. And you know how many pans I have melted? Tea kettles I have seared to the...
Fused to the stove.
Fused to the stove. I have not done that with my silicone spatulas.
Somewhere in the landfill, is the stove burner with the tea kettle.
The Tara sear that fused on there.
Fused to it, and someday someone will find that in an archaeological dig, and they're like, "Wow, this is some kind of unusual contraption."
Yep. So if you're in Nez Perce, Idaho, at the dump and you find it, you'll know it was mine.
The first self-heating tea kettle.
All right, my 5 minutes is up. Now, since this is the first time I'm actually making this recipe, you guys get to recipe test with me. I am not going to let it cook for the longer amount for high altitude, although I probably should. Okay, put in my white chocolate chips. Let those get all melted. And then my apple spice. Now, I will leave in the recipe how to make your own apple spice, pie spice, if you don't have, there's no reason to buy apple pie spice, guys. It's just regular spices. But, okay. So let's get that all mixed in. Oops, and where'd our apples go? Here's our apples. Oh my goodness. That smells delicious. Now we're gonna wait and put the vanilla in after we've got everything all mixed in. Okay, now when we tried this at the Cold Hollow apple cider mill, this is where we first tried this recipe.
It was amazing.
Mike said, you said what? What did you say about it? It tastes like...
Oh, it tastes like Christmas?
Tastes like the North Pole,
Oh,
he said.
like this
is what the North Pole would taste like, he said.
Yeah, I said if we went to the North Pole, this is what I would expect it to taste like.
Yes. Now, the recipe that I'm adapting this from says to use Ghirardelli chocolate chips, but my store didn't have them, so I just used the regular Walmart ones. I think it should be fine, but the Ghirardelli might make a smoother fudge. I don't know. So, just that little tip there will let you know how smooth it gets, but you want all the chocolate chips melted. We're gonna let that sit for just a minute. We'll just let it melt. Melt. And I don't put my vanilla in until all the chips are melted because it cools it down. So you don't want it cooled down. You want to have that heat to melt the chocolate chips. You need to figure out the price per pound on this. So before we eat any, dear, let's weigh it and see. It was, one place was $16 a pound and another place was $19 a pound for the same fudge. Yeah, it was crazy. So,
what's your best guess?
One little piece, our little piece that was like this big, was $4. So my best guess is, let's see, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I think this whole entire pan can be less than $6. Probably $5 for the entire pan.
Wow.
So, you can make this entire pan for a piece that we got that was like this big for $4, for the entire pan for around $6. I will, as I'm editing this, guys, I will take and put the exact numbers on what it cost me to make this up there. And that will be non-sale prices at Walmart. So just imagine if you waited until Thanksgiving and got your sweetened condensed milk and your chocolate chips and all that for even less on sale. Probably mark off. I'll put the sale prices on there too, guys, what I would pay for sale. So you can know the exact price. Wow, it takes forever for these chocolate chips to melt.
Are you sure that's not apple?
Yeah. See, there's a different color. Those are white.
Nice.
But we're almost there. Turn the heat back on if you have an electric stove, if you need to, on low to warm it back up again to get these all melted, but we're so close. I hate to... Oh yeah, the soft one. Okay, so we got 2 apple fudges. If you cook it not enough, it's too soft, which is what that one was. And then the other one was actually overcooked slightly and it was kind of dry and crumbly. So that's how you know if you've cooked it too long or too little for the next time. Just make notes on your recipes, guys. That's how Grandma did it. She just, when she made it, she just made notes of what went wrong or whatever, and then she made it next time with those changes.
What's funny is even the very hard one and the kind of not quite set one, both of them were amazingly delicious.
Yeah, they were really tasty. I mean, good grief, with fudge, you really can't go too wrong unless you just burn the tar out of it. Oh, it's our 30th anniversary. We need to tell the fudge story briefly. So guess how Mike and I met?
How did we meet?
I worked at a fudge shop. What? And I'm making fudge on our 30th anniversary.
Aww, isn't that wonderful?
I worked in a fudge shop. Mike came in to see his sister who was leaving town, who worked with me. And she was getting ready to leave, so he came to say goodbye. And he saw a girl in an apron. Aww. And it's 30 years later and I'm still in an apron, honey.
Aww. Yep,
okay.
She was making fudge and I was like, oh, look at that.
Did you think I would make fudge for you every day?
Make fudge for me every day.
Have I made fudge for you every day?
No.
Only at Christmas.
I thought, she works at a fudge shop. She's going to be so sweet.
Oh. Okay, everybody can get your airplane barf bags out now.
Saying you were sweet and sour.
Okay, so now we have our prepared pan. And this might be easier with 2 people, but I'm gonna see if I can do it, okay? Oh, we forgot the vanilla. Ah! Okay.
Do you need to go get another person?
And this is what you need for vanilla after 30 years of marriage.
Yeah, give me a double.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. I don't know what this is going to taste like, but holy macaroni, if we had smell-o-vision, you guys would be dying right now. It smells so good. Now, you could also, after you pour it in the pan, drizzle it with caramel and have caramel apple fudge.
Yum.
Caramel apple cider fudge. Okay, got the vanilla all mixed in there. Here we go. You ready?
What is that?
That is deliciousness.
Not letting a single drop of it go to waste.
I'm trying not to, although it's very hard doing this. Really, if you can have someone hold while you scrape out the pan, that's much easier. Or just leave the pan for your hubby to eat.
Scrape the last little bit.
Yes. Okay, so now we're gonna put this in the fridge and let it sit overnight to firm up. Except, you know what? Pull your, if it looks like your apple is unevenly distributed, pull it through different little amounts there. There. Okay, now we're gonna stick this in the fridge overnight. Can you wait that long?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, man, that is hot. I hope
Put it directly on the
it
glass.
doesn't crack the glass. Okay, so let's stick it on a, there we go. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I can wait that long. Okay, let's see. I don't know if it's gonna be as good as the other place. We may have to adjust. What do you think?
It's good. I think it needs to be a little more appley.
Does it need more apple in it?
It's very good, but thinking a little more appley.
It needs more apples.
Hurry, quick, put some more apples in it.
It is good though, isn't it?
It is good, yes, very good.
All right, I did not keep this in the refrigerator for overnight or even 8 hours, but I think it's done. So, yeah, feels pretty done. Okay, so 64 pieces out of this, huh? Yeah, whatever. Okay.
We need to get a tape measure and mark off the lines.
Now that's what I would call a good piece of fudge. So I don't know, dear, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3,
36.
4, 5, 6. We'll have 36, you think? So her serving size
It's half that.
is this big as 100 calories. Wow. Who eats a piece of fudge that size? Nobody that I know.
How many skinny people do you know who eat a lot of fudge?
Well, this is true. Okay. Who wants to test it?
I
Dad or Jack?
We can both
Or
test
both?
it. Jack, you first.
Sure.
Okay. Test it. What do you think?
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Pretty tasty?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best spaghetti and meatballs you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad. Your turn. Man, that's really good.
Is that like apple
Apple.
cider?
It's
Ooh, so you
called
didn't.
apple cider fudge.
It's really good.
That's really good. So we should test. Do you have a sample of that other one? We should test them
We're
side by
gonna cut
side.
it next.
Okay.
Guess what I'm making out of these mashed potatoes? What do you think I'm making out of these mashed potatoes, dear? Fudge!
Fudge out of mashed potatoes?
Mashed potato fudge. Now this is a great way to use up mashed potatoes. You're going to take your shortening. The recipe is in the description below at livingonadime.com. As usual, just regular shortening. Then we're gonna take butter. For those of you who don't know, look here, they have how many tablespoons, and you just go 1, 2, 3, and then you cut here. Okay, for those of you who have never cooked before. All right, then we're gonna put that in there, and we are going to melt this in the microwave. All right, and it mostly melted. Next thing we're going to add is 1/2 cup of cocoa. Right there. And let me measure. I'm pretty sure this is 1/3 of a cup already of mashed potatoes. Oh, shoot. No. Yeah, that's about 1/3 of a cup. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a titch of salt and vanilla, my homemade, coming home from the PTA meeting vanilla. Okay, so now I don't have to do it this way. Actually, I need to put it in a bigger bowl, but I'm just getting all these combined first just because it's simple. Okay, so you want all of these mixed well. Now you're gonna think, oh Tara, you're just absolutely crazy. What are you doing putting mashed potatoes in fudge? I'm telling you, it's actually really good. Okay, then you're gonna take 1 pound of powdered sugar. Now this is 2 pounds of powdered sugar. So it's gonna be half of this. And if you wanna get precise and measure, you can, but you don't really need to. Right, and then we're going to stir in our chocolate mashed potato mixture. Okay, now, not getting ready to do some medical exam here. I am not feeling like digging out fudge out from beneath my fingers, so I just got the gloves, or out of my fingernails, I should say, out of my fingers. That would be weird, wouldn't it? Okay, so just smush this in really, really good. Thought I was gonna have to knead it, but maybe not. Maybe I just put the gloves on for nothing. Guys, if you like my videos, would you please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share my videos with your friends and family? Really helps YouTube to know that you guys love us. And that is one easy way you can support us. All right, now, you got every little bit mixed in. I think, nope, there's some on the bottom. Get every little bit mixed in. Okay, now, you do not have to use parchment paper. You can just grease your pan. But greasing your pan is how Grandma used to do it. But people now really like parchment paper. So even though it's not frugal, that's why I'm using parchment paper, to let you guys know you can do both. Now, I just cut a slit on each corner, so then it'll fold in on itself, okay? And you just take the corner, go over, take the corner, put it in, just like so. Okay, now if you want to grease this, you can. I'm not going to. Then we're going to take our fudge and we are going to put it in our pan. Okay, I guess I didn't need the gloves after all. Thought I was gonna have to knead it, but I don't. Okay, now we're just gonna spread this all in here until we get it smooth. Now, a lot of people ask me, what do I do with all of my candies and stuff that we make for the videos? Since we shoot anywhere from 6 to 10 videos a day when we do our shooting, I take the food to the Habitat for Humanity Restore. We love them down there and they always appreciate it. And then I take it to the teachers at Jack's school and the kids at Jack's school, and they all eat it. Take it to neighbors, our favorite appliance repairman, Pistol, who has, what, 9 kids, I think he has? So we spread the love around to all of our friends and neighbors. Okay. That's how it's supposed to look. Then we're gonna throw it in the refrigerator until it is cool, probably 3 or 4 hours, up to overnight if you want to. Oops, except the refrigerator's turned off for the videos. But you'll get the idea there, guys. You gotta love me, right?
I do love you.
Okay, my potato fudge. I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy.
Taters, huh?
Yep. Okay, so cut it into pieces. Now, I only had this in the freezer or refrigerator, excuse me, for 2 hours. 4 hours would be much better, but we got to get finished filming here. Why? Because we're tired. We've been filming, how many videos have we done today? Like 8 or something? I don't know. Now, this is potato fudge.
Mm.
What do you think?
It's good. I'm trying to think about the texture. Wow, it's very good. Oh, it's really good. Whoa.
Oops.
Took me a second to get the whole flavor.
You'd never know there's mashed potatoes in it.
Well, it has a consistency, a creamy consistency like creamy mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's really good.
Here.
Now I will say, I used dark chocolate cocoa. I don't like dark chocolate as much as regular, so use the type of cocoa that you like. So if you just like regular tasting chocolate, just use regular chocolate and not dark. But Mike likes dark chocolate, so this is gonna be his. I'll have to make me some dairy-free fudge. I need to make a little note here. You guys saw that I used the Ghirardelli cocoa. I do not like the Ghirardelli cocoa. I prefer just regular Hershey's baking cocoa. Mike and I tested a bunch of different baking cocoas and brownies on my other channel, Living on a Dime to Grow Rich. And honestly, the Ghirardelli came out on the bottom of the pile. It was the Hershey's that was at the top.
I think with the Ghirardelli, it's if you like the kind of smoky dark chocolate taste instead of just regular chocolate.
Yep.